Alright, let's dive into the big question. What happens to Trump's criminal cases if he wins the 2024 election? Former President Donald Trump is back on the campaign trail, eyeing another term in the White House. But this time, he's got a lot more than just political opponents to worry about. He's facing multiple ongoing criminal cases across federal and state courts. If he wins the 2024 election, things could get really complicated. Let's break it down. First up, in May, Trump was found guilty of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to a hush money payment made during the 2016 election. Sentencing is set for November 26th, right after the election. Experts think it's unlikely that this will be delayed, even if he wins. If re-elected, Trump could be the first sitting president with felony convictions and a potential prison sentence hanging over him. Next, we have the special counsel Jack Smith has brought two federal cases against Trump. The first is about Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. The second involves his handling of classified documents after leaving office. If Trump wins the presidency, his Justice Department could drop these cases. Trump has even said he'd fire Smith if elected. This would raise huge concerns about the rule of law and potential abuse of power. Then there's the 2020 election. Here, Trump faces state charges related to alleged attempts to interfere with the 2020 election results. His lawyer argues that presidential duties and the Constitution's Supremacy Clause would prevent a trial during his second term. This could push the trial back to at least 2029, raising questions about the statute of limitations and the ability to conduct a fair trial after such a delay. So, what about historically? U.S. presidents enjoy certain immunities while in office, but these mostly apply to civil cases, not criminal ones. If Trump wins, his defense team could argue that federal charges interfere with his duties, likely bringing the issue to the Supreme Court. But state charges, like those in New York and Georgia, are a different story. Federal charges could be delayed by his presidential status, but state charges might not. A president has no direct authority over state legal proceedings or the power to grant immunity from state charges. If convicted at the state level while in office, Trump would have limited options. He can't pardon state crimes. Only governors can do that. What about if elected? Trump could use his presidential powers to stall or delay federal cases. His legal team could argue that active cases impede his executive duties. But for state cases, Trump would have fewer options. Governors in states like New York and Georgia hold the legal authority. And then there's the question of the president can pardon federal crimes, but not state charges. Trump could theoretically pardon himself for federal charges, but this would face intense legal scrutiny and challenges. The idea of a self-pardon has never been tested, and scholars are divided on its legality. However, a self-pardon would not protect him from state charges. Finally, let's talk about if Trump were convicted while in office, Congress could initiate impeachment proceedings. But this would depend heavily on the political makeup of Congress. Impeachment is a political process and requires a 2/3 majority in the Senate for removal. If Trump wins the 2024 election and faces active criminal proceedings, it would set a significant precedent. The outcomes could reshape the balance of powers, the extent of presidential immunity, and the future of presidential pardons. The country could be entering uncharted territory, setting new precedents that will influence how the U.S. navigates the intersection of politics, the presidency, and criminal law in years to come. Stay tuned to WorldWire Newsbeat for updates on this evolving story and other impactful news developments.